My name is Jackie Merci. I live in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. I've been part of Vital Health since the end of April. I've had the pleasure of going to Mexico twice and meeting everybody. And this has been a blessing in my life for sure. I've come on with an amazing team that I'm super grateful for. And yeah, this is the beginning of my journey. So like James said, this is my first AM Power call and I'm terrified. So I'm gonna be completely transparent through this whole call with you guys. And that's why I chose this topic. So fear is a big one. So everybody has fear in their life, but it's how you work through it. And so I have a cute little video clip that we're going to share too, but we'll start here. So James was like super cool to do this for me because I don't know what it is, but I've been having so much problems with this little presentation. So I'm super grateful that he's taken the reins in this for me. So
you can see good? We're good?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. So the moment before the leap, this is always the thing, right? It's the scariest before you decide to jump. And, you know, for me, even this call, I'm going to reference this call a lot through this because it's, you know, it's happening for me in real time. But, you know, you feel it so heavy, right? Does anybody ever feel it? Like you feel it in your throat, you feel it in your chest, you know, you lose your voice. Like I notice right now, my throat is dry. And it's because it's just an idea that you give yourself. Nobody, like I'm looking at all your beautiful faces and I'm like, nobody, you know, is judging me for this, but you have this rhetoric in your head about what it is that you're going to often fear is judgment. So I'm going to play, James is going to play a cute little video for you next. Okay, so okay, so I'm just going to give a little insight in this video. So this video, I've referenced it so many times in my life. Honestly, the child in this video is probably like graduated college by now. That's how many times I've watched it. And I've had it on my Facebook. And what it is just, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an intro to it. You know, this little kid is mic'd up and he's standing at this ski jump and you can hear the terror, legit terror in his voice. And he's trying to summon the courage and giving himself that self-talk to get through it. So we'll play it now.
Be fine.
Have fun.
I'll do it. Well, here goes something, I guess. Oh. Okay, you can do this. I'm gonna jump.
You got it.
Whoa, my ski's slipping off.
Just remember, never snowplow, okay?
No snow plows.
Just keep it straight and you'll be fine.
Okay.
You do on the 20.
Straight. Do you go faster on the in run?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Is it any steeper, do you think? Not much?
Same steepness, it's just longer.
Well, just longer. Just longer. Just a bigger 20, that's all.
Yep. Have
it's
fun.
A bigger 20.
Go ahead. You got this.
I got it.
It's fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Here.
The longer you wait, you'll be more scared.
I go. Just the suspense at the top at the first time freaks you out. That's the only thing. It's so fun. Huh? 60 seems like nothing now. Whoa!
Every time I watch that, I get teary-eyed. I don't know what it is. You can just feel it inside him, right? And like you can hear him just quivering and he's so scared and he starts to do it and then he stops. And then you can hear, you know, a little cheerleader in the background, like, you can do this. It's worse if you wait, just do it. And then finally he does it, you know, and at the end of it, he's like, wow, like 60 seems like nothing now. You know, I just love that video. And I think that's something, maybe you guys can reflect on that video a little bit when you're scared to do something, because, it's just the anxiety that we give ourselves. It's our own story. It's nobody else's. It's just our own story. And so just finding that place within you to work through it. So we'll go to the next one. Okay. So the noise before the leap, right? Like, you can hear it, you're anticipating it, and you're like, okay, like what, all the things go through your head, like, judgment, what if I mess up? That's a lot of it, I think, is just having that fear that you're going to be judged. So judgment is it's really only yours. That's not something that I've learned. People may look at something that you do for a little bit. Like if you put, I don't know how many times you analyze like a Facebook post you're going to put on, or social media post, like, is this right? Am I getting the right audience? Are people, are they going to, read something into this? And chances are people read it once and they're like, meh, all right. And that's it. And even if it was something that you stirred inside of them, that's something you stirred inside of them. And, and that's their thing. That has nothing to do with you. And so just understanding that, the fear that you have and any reflection that's being brought from somebody else, it's really just their story. It's just, they're just you're shining the mirror onto them. So we'll go on to the next slide. Okay, so the reality and the stories we tell. So fear of rejection, right? There's a girl that, you think is really sweet, and you've been seeing her at work, or you've been, hopefully maybe not at work, but you've been seeing her somewhere, and, at the coffee shop, and you're like, okay, I really want to go up to this girl, but you're scared of the rejection. And so you don't. And failure, in this business, there's a lot of people, a lot of our team, we talk all the time, and people are like, well, I want to talk to this one person. I really do, like, they're on my list, but I'm scared to because I'm worried that they're gonna think, oh, there she goes again doing something new, or why would I join you? What have you done in the past? Like, that's a big one, I think, for a lot of people that's starting in this business. They're like, well, somebody else has already walked this path, why would I walk it with you? And the interesting thing about that piece is the majority of people that, they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it, wow, this person has this opportunity that I didn't know about. They're not Googling who's been in this business longer and who can I find that's done more. That's not really something that happens, but it's a story that we're telling ourselves. So judgment, I did touch on judgment a little bit. The judgment of others, the judgment of maybe your parents, growing up, maybe, now it's like your friends or people, your mentors. You're scared that, they're going to judge you for decisions that you make, whether it's in your business, if you run your business differently than maybe how they do. That happens a lot within a business like this. The judgment part is really just, it's also something that it's a confidence that you have to get into in your heart and in your soul, that their words don't matter to you. They're going to judge people that judge, or I guess we're judged all the time in little things that we do, but it has nothing to do with you. That's just their interpretation of you. So working through judgment, I think, can be one of those things that makes people stay frozen longer than some of the other things, because it feels like judgment stays with you. You can carry judgment, on for a little bit longer. Let's say, you were, I don't know, a bad boy in high school, and that's what you were. And you were known for, like, skipping class and, I don't know, doing things you shouldn't be doing. And people judged you for those things. And then let's say, your life shifts and you go through a period in your life where you're like, okay, you know what? I want to leave that behind. I'm not that person anymore. But sometimes the other people's judgment of you from that time in your life stays, and it may stay with you for a little bit longer. But eventually people will release that once they see you doing the things that have shifted. So judgment's often a hard thing to get through. So setbacks. So there's lots of setbacks in life. I mean, gosh, we have them all the time in everything we do. So the fear in setbacks, like, okay, well, what if I go all in this business, and I'm doing really, really well. And then, somebody else on my team, one of my biggest leaders, decides that, hey, you know what, this isn't for me anymore, because that will happen. And they go and pursue something else, or they join another company. And now all of a sudden you're in this place of, wait a second, I thought I put a lot of time and effort and love and energy into this. And this person has decided to move on. And now you're left with, whoa, okay, like this is a huge setback. What do I do with this? Maybe I just quit. Maybe I just quit because it's easy to quit. Maybe I just be like, you know what? This doesn't work. It's too hard. It didn't work. And so, she left, and my team's basically, half of my team's gone, and I put in so much time, and maybe it's just not worth it. So that's a huge story that we tell ourselves. And the reality of it is people are going to come and people are going to go. And the thing that you have to do is you have to stay steadfast into what it is, why you're here, what it is that sparks you. And if those people go, then you just need to release them and let them go, and let them go with love. And just realize that it's for maybe for their betterment. And, and you always want betterment for someone else. And, it's going to challenge you maybe to grow in a different way. Maybe you weren't doing as much as you could have done, or you're relying too much on that person. I know I have done that many times in my past. I have a great team. I have some really amazing leaders. And, I've leaned on them often, even though, I'm their leader. But I think that's also a gift to be able to have that, within your team, where you can, lift one another up, and we all have different strengths and weaknesses, but not allowing that setback to take you away from what it is you want. So challenges are everywhere. We're always going to have challenges. But the fear in a challenge maybe is just your own, insecurity about, can I get through this challenge? Am I able to overcome it? But, when the challenge is presented to you, it's because it's there for you to grow. I really do feel that nobody is given anything that they aren't able to grow through. It may be hard, it may hurt, but it's there for your betterment. I look back to my life and so many different challenges in my life that have come, and often I'm like, okay, wait, like I've learned this lesson. Why do I need to learn it again? And then I learn it again, and I learn a little bit more, and it goes a little bit deeper, and then it elevates in a different way. So just understanding that the challenges, the fear of the challenge, and the challenges when they come through, they're for growth. And we can't get beyond that unless we have the challenges. If every day was a sunny day, we wouldn't know the difference, right? And so, you have to be able to weather, those hard times too. Okay, fear, the stories we tell about growth opportunities, that's something like this is, vital health is a perfect example. There's so many opportunities here. And so in some ways, there's fear around those opportunities, because you can look at other people that are in this space that are doing it, and think, okay, wait, like I know that the issue isn't where I'm at, right? Like I know that I'm in the right space. I know that vital health has all the opportunities I need for obviously health and wealth. They've got it all here. And so there's a bit of a fear, like if I fail at this, if I don't grow in this, it's not them. It's not that I'm not in the right place, it's me. But just recognizing that, really having that conversation with yourself, like, okay, what am I actually scared of? I'm actually scared of not being able to grow, not being able to move through it, because then really it is me, and having those hard conversations with yourself is what's going to elevate you and get you through. So we'll move to the next slide, please. Okay, fear wears disguises. So let's see who relates with these ones. So procrastination. So that's a fear in a hoodie, if anybody's wondering what that sweatshirt's there for. So, okay, so we wear disguises, right? Often procrastination is one. You want to, go under your covers and just hide away. You don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to avoid it. If I avoid it, it's not really there. And you procrastinate and you procrastinate and you procrastinate. And then generally what happens, you need to get it done anyways. So then you've created this stress, deeper stress around it. And you either avoid the situation entirely and cut yourself off from the world, or you've created a situation that's now more complicated for you. It's harder to get through because you've left it too long. The perfectionism. So that's a little lipstick. So this one I identify really a lot with, and I wonder who else identifies with perfectionism. So I feel like I've worked through a lot of this in the past 5 years. I've done a lot of personal development, but you know, I used to always think I needed to be perfect. And if everything wasn't perfect, then somehow it was a failure. And so the fear of not being perfect, it created so much anxiety in my life, because I needed to have, you know, make sure, you know, my hair was perfect, my makeup was perfect, my house was perfect, my everything was clean, you know, all the time, and I didn't make mistakes. And it's crazy that I used to be in that space, but I did, and it really, really, you know, it actually puts up a lot of barriers for you, because you're not real when you're perfect, right? Because that's not real. That's not being human. Human, we aren't perfect. Like, I am so not perfect. I have so many things that, I mean, my team knows I'm always like, this is not my strength, you guys. Like, this is not what I'm good at, but I know what I am good at. And understanding, you know, and accepting yourself for not being perfect, because there's vulnerability in imperfection, and people will gravitate you more when they can relate to you and when you're vulnerable with them and you're not always perfect. So that's something that, you know, I challenge those that do, you know, concentrate a lot on being perfect, to really, you know, look deeper at yourself and just understanding, like, you know, what when you see somebody else that's perfect, you know, do you feel like you can relate to them? Do you feel like you can confide in them? Do you feel like they're a safe place for you? And I would imagine that most of the time that answer is no. So the next one I'm going to do is control. So that's a clipboard. So the fear disguised as control. Now, I know there's a lot of, you know, type A person. I'm actually, you probably figured it out in 33 seconds that I'm not a type A personality. I'm a type B personality. But, you know, a lot of people have the control. They need to control every aspect of their life. They need to, you know, they're super scheduled, they're super regimented. They need to control, you know, their team. Everything needs to be done a certain way. There's only one way to do things. And that's really masked just in fear. It's their way that, you know, if I do it, then I know it's done right. And so it's also, you know, it kind of like ponies up to perfectionism too, because, you know, it's a fear, and a fear of judgment. But when you micromanage things, you know, your life, your children, your husband, your team, any of those things, you really, you know, you disallow, you don't allow them to be able to grow, because they can't, right? You can't grow when there's no room for it. And so if people control, you know, others, you know, their team, their children, all these things that I mentioned, you know, you can't blossom in that, because you're being stifled. It's like you're being kept in this box because you can't do it right. So that's something that, you know, I think that a lot of leaders, you know, can maybe come through, because they are so good at so many things, which is amazing that they are that, but sometimes they don't allow others to grow through that. So that's something that that I think is really, you know, something to look at if you're identifying with that part. So we will go to the next slide. And so the cost of staying frozen. So I use this term all the time. Like, I'm frozen. So I remember the first time Vital Health came to me, I was like, oh no, like, I've been in a lot of different companies. Like James said, we own a steel building business. I have done, you know, I was a real estate agent, personal trainer, like a lot of these things coincide at all at the same time. I seem to always have a lot of things going on. And I say this all the time. I'm frozen. I still get frozen. I get frozen all the time. I was frozen, you know, 3 minutes before coming into this call. But the cost of it costs you so much when you don't move. So the opportunities that you miss, and not just in business, but in relationships too, right? You're scared to to have that hard conversation, which, you know, so the opportunities, let's just say in business, lead to the, you know, being frozen in relationships. So, you know, let's say I look up to James and I'm like, wow, you know, this guy's amazing. He's done so many things. Like, you know, I really want to bring this to him, but I'm scared because, I mean, it's him. He's done so many things. Like, why would he listen to me? Why, you know, what can I do that's going to, you know, touch him, to open his mind to something I have to say? And so I don't say anything, right? And then I just, you know, it's just on my mind and I'm mad at myself. I'm disappointed, you know, I'm disappointed in myself. I'm feeling like I'm a failure because why can't I be, you know, brave enough to just talk to James, because it's just words, but I don't. I just don't say anything. And then somebody else comes along and then, you know, next thing you know, James is on, you know, an AM power call and you're like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I say something? Why did the fear keep me stuck? In our relationships, hard conversations, that's something that, you know, I think I used to avoid a lot in my life. But definitely in the last, you know, 5 years, anyone that knows me will know that I will have the hard conversation. I don't ever like it, but what's on the other side of it is so much more beautiful than avoiding it, than being so scared to have that conversation, because you're basically, you know, it's sort of like living a lie, because if you can't say what you feel because you're scared of what they're going to say back to you or judgment, and you just avoid it, then that problem is still there. It never goes away. The only way to go through something is through it. It's never around it. If you keep going around it, it's just a circle. It's just a loop that never stops. So yeah, so being frozen with your ideas, thinking that you're not worthy, right? Like what, like why would somebody listen to me? Because, you know, this idea may, you know, may be silly, so I'm just not going to say anything and keep it inside. But you're, again, it's like, you know, if you think of it in terms of you know, you're helping somebody else, right? Like, you don't know what you have. Often we're our own worst critic. We think that we don't have what somebody else wants, but really, you know, what you have, those ideas that are coming to you are there for a reason. They're being given to you to share it. And then, of course, the cost of staying frozen in your growth. You don't say anything, you don't do anything, you're not going anywhere. You're stuck in the same spot. So if you're not happy with, you know, your job that you're at, or you're not happy in your relationships, you know, your friendships, your marriages, your relationships with your children, you know, you're not growing anymore. You're like, okay, like something's got to change. I'm just same thing day in, day out. I'm not inspired. Nothing, you know, nothing I do is working. You know, that's all in the growth part. You know, you have to be able to grow. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, what can I do differently? How do I move through this? And then you have to just do it, because the only way you'll get through it is by going through it. So we'll go to the next slide. How am I doing? Okay, so fear is proof that you're on the edge of something that matters, right? So if you're not scared of something, then, you know, there's no conversation to have. But if you're feeling that fear for something, it's because something's stirring in your soul. Like, hey, wait a second, like, this matters to me. This is what I want. You know, this is showing me a way that I've been asking for, or I've been wanting, or this person matters to me so much that I'm scared to have that conversation. You know, I'm scared to have that hard conversation with my best friend because we had a falling out and it sucks and I don't want to do that. So I'm scared to do that. But what that's showing you is that it actually matters. It's in your heart for a reason. I actually think fear is your biggest cheerleader. You know, it's there to get you through those things. It's like, hey, wait a second, I'm scared here. Have that conversation. Why am I scared? Oh gosh, I'm scared because it matters. Like, I'm scared because this is actually what I want, and I'm scared to fail. And I'm scared of being judged. But if I don't, then what does that look like? You know, you lose one of your best friends because you didn't want to have that call, and distance just starts happening and growing and growing and growing. And you're like, well, I avoided it. So you avoid, you know, a half-hour conversation that's super uncomfortable But in the end, what does that leave you? It leaves you distance with somebody that meant so much to you. You know, that's something that, you know, I don't think that's worth it, right? So usually fear is not worth what it's giving you. So, and then I think we have one more slide here. Yeah, so fear shows up when the moment actually matters. So one thing that, you know, I want to encourage you guys to do is get out of your own way. Maybe write down the 3 things that you're scared of right now. The 3 things that you're like, no, I can't do that. Nope, not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm avoiding that. Write those 3 things down and just reflect on them. And I challenge you to take one of them this week and actually do it. Whether it's, hey, I've been avoiding calling that person to join me in Vital Health to share this with them. I've just been avoiding it. They're on your list and you're like, nope, that's the last person I'm going to do. Do them next. Just really, like, you know, give yourself that courage to do something that scares you. Like, this scares me. Like, it terrified me. And it's weird because I talk on Zooms all the time with my team, you know, and I'm fine with like business presentations, boardrooms, like I don't know what it is, but for some reason, this for me was a thing that I needed to overcome. And Tara was like, girl, you just need to do this. And I'm like, you know what? I do, because I know that this has been a barrier for me. And the only way I'm going to be able to do it is by doing it. So I just encourage you all to dig deep this week, find something that scares the heck out of you and do it anyways. And you know what? If you want to send me a little, I would love to hear from you on what that was for you and what the outcome was. Because the worst thing that happens is it's just a no. So thank you guys. I think I'm just about out of time. I want to just thank you all so very much. You made this so much easier than what I thought. I'm like, what was my problem? I don't even know, because it was amazing. And I'm grateful for every one of you. So thank you.